Good day, friends. Thank you for the great response that I received for Bible and Science video 2. This is Bible and Science video 3. And we hope to produce many more videos in this series. In video 1, I had mentioned that when somebody brings any objection from science against the Bible, examine the objection and see whether it is based upon a theory of science, unestablished theory of science, or established fact of science. In the second video, I examined an objection like this. Many people claim that there is life on Mars, and that disproves the Bible. Number one, not only Mars, if there is life on all the stars, it does not disprove the Bible, because the Bible doesn't say anything about life outside the earth. Number one. Number two, since they so zealously bring that argument, it is necessary for us to examine that argument, and an examination of the latest discoveries, particularly the artificial intelligence-based analysis of 70,000 photographs from Mars made it very clear that there is no water, and all these people are jumping up and down on the basis of the claim that there is water and therefore there would be life on Mars. Another objection, today we will handle another objection against the Bible, objection from the field of science. A plain reading of the Bible shows that the universe is relatively recent. But these people claim that the universe is 14.5 billion years old. And the question today we are going to examine is whether there is any factual basis behind this 14.5 billion year claim. First of all, you may want to know where does the Bible say that the universe is relatively young? You all know about 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments are given in Exodus, and then they are repeated in Deuteronomy. In both places, the Bible says in 7 days God created heavens, the earth, and everything in them, which means that the entire universe is part of the 7-day creation mentioned in Genesis. And from 7-day creation, you can count the number of years based upon the countless chronologies given in them. And when we count, it becomes very clear that the universe is less than 10,000 years old. I say 10,000 instead of 6,000 because there are a few gaps here and there, and scholars are working on resolving those gaps. So one thing is clear, the upper limit is 10,000. So how is it possible to reconcile 10,000 with 15 billion? First of all, let me tell you, 15 billion is only the current number. It is not a fact of science. It is an estimate. When I was a college student, the estimate was 4.5 billion years. And they thought that was final. Then it became 5.5. Then it became 10 billion. Today it stands at 15.5, and in another 10 years or so, they may revise it further, and therefore the figure of 15.5 billion years for the age of the universe is not an established fact of science. It is basically an estimate based upon their theories. Recently, there has been a new development that shows that the estimate may be completely wrong. Actually, Christian scientists and creationists have been pointing out for the last 50 years that age of the universe is calculated by atheists and evolution believing people based upon what is known as Euclidean geometry. Euclid was the great, I should say, great grandfather of modern geometry, and that is known as Euclidean geometry, and all what we study in schools and colleges. And there is not only geometry but also trigonometry and analytical geometry. Most of them are based upon Euclidean geometry. For decades, Christian scientists have pointed out that the universe may not be Euclidean in structure or shape. And if it is not Euclidean in structure or shape, then what appears to be 15 billion today, what appeared 4.5 billion some 40 years ago, and what appears 15.5 today, and what may appear 20 billion 20 years from today, they have pointed out that it may all be basically less than 10,000 years if the universe is non-Euclidean. This idea was always picked up. The idea of a non-Euclidean universe was picked up by science fiction. If there is anyone here who is a lover of science fiction, you would surely have seen starships and spaceships jumping from one universe into another universe within moments through what they call as wormhole. The idea of wormhole is firmly established in science fiction. I am a lover of Star Trek, and I have even published a paper on the eschatology of Star Trek. And Star Trek depends upon wormholes where they go from a universe or from one place or one galaxy to a galaxy which is tens of thousands or even billions of years ago through wormhole, and it takes only a few moments to do that, or maybe a few hours to do that. The concept of wormhole is highly complex and mathematical, but I can explain it through a very simple, imperfect, but very simple and powerful example. Assume that there is a wall which is 100 miles to your left, 100 miles to your right, and 100 miles high, but which is absolutely transparent for sound. So you are standing here on one side of the wall and shouting, "Is there anybody on the other side? Is there anybody on the other side?" And suddenly you hear a response, "Yes, yes, I am on the other side and my name is such and such." Now, if you want to reach that person who is just across the wall, only a few feet away, you have to travel 100 kilometers or 100 miles to your left or to your right and then return another 100 miles. So, the apparent distance between you and that person is 200 miles. At the same time, if somebody is able to bore a tunnel in the wall, you can just pass through the tunnel and reach that person who is hardly 2 feet away. In this example, a person who is 2 feet away looks like 200 miles away from you. And you have to travel 200 miles to reach that person unless there is a tunnel. In non-Euclidean space, there is a possibility of tunnels like this, and scientists call it wormhole because worms are known to tunnel through or bore through trees and even through muds. That's how that name came. So, wormholes are a theoretical concept using which starships were jumping through millions of light years through within a few minutes. A recent experiment has shown that wormholes are possible. Using quantum computers, they are able to simulate things and situations which cannot be simulated using ordinary computers. So just the other day, Science News reported that they simulated a wormhole or using quantum computers, and then they sent coded information from one side of the wormhole, and it successfully reached the other side without any corruption in data, which means that according to the latest studies and simulations, wormholes are possible, and it is possible to jump through wormholes, and data is not corrupted when there is such a jump, which in turn means, or which is a demonstration in turn, that if the universe is non-Euclidean, then what looks like 15.5 billion today, what looked like 4.5 billion 40 years ago, what looks like 15.5 billion today, and what shall look like 20 billion 20 years from today, they all can be less than 10,000 years old. Just as the distance between you and the other person on the other side of the wall looks like 200 miles, but when there is a hole or when there is a tunnel, that 200 miles is reduced to 4 feet. In the same way, in a non-Euclidean space, what looks like 15.5 or 20 billion would soon be reduced to something less than 10,000 years. The question is, how soon can we expect such jumping through wormholes? Please remember, the theory of science often discovers things far, far, far in advance before it becomes practical. And the best example is the so-called God particles or Higgs bosons. A scientist by the name of Higgs proposed that there are such particles known as bosons, and they were named as Higgs bosons, but he could not discover it for 40 years, and he was fed up discovering them. James Narlikar of India proposed tachyons, particles that travel faster than light, but even after half a century of the proposal, they have not been discovered. So in science, theoretical proposals, mathematical proposals, they come, and final discovery would be 30, 40 or 50 or even a century after that. But these theoretical proposals show that something is possible. Whether something is there or not, that needs experimental confirmation. But these theoretical calculations and these theoretical studies show that it is possible. And therefore, to my friends who are listening to me, let me tell you, for almost 50 years, Christian scientists and scholars have shown that it is possible for the universe to be very young but look very old. And now, according to the latest simulation on a quantum computer, it has become clear that this kind of boreholes in the universe would make the universe very small. Wormholes, they will make the universe very small. In fact, 10,000, a universe that is less than 10,000 years, approximately. Please remember that distance and age, they are correlated. And in my talk, I interchangeably use distance and also ages of the universe. Studies on wormholes have now firmly established that the universe can be less than 10,000 years, but it can appear to be 15.5, even 20 billion years, or even 50 billion years. One doesn't know the upper limit. But that can actually be a very young universe. And once again, let me tell you, my friends, the more science progresses, the closer it comes to the Bible, and the more it defends the biblical truth. So tomorrow, if somebody comes and says, don't you know, oh, your Bible says that the earth is very young, but don't you know that the universe is 15.5 billion years old? Tell them, 40 years ago, they said it was 4.5. Today, you are saying it is 15.5. And 20 years from today, you will say it is 20 billion. So first of all, the numbers you are quoting are not stable numbers. Let them become stable first before you argue. Number two, from the latest studies on wormholes, it has been demonstrated that jump through wormholes is possible without corruption of data, and therefore, if wormholes can be discovered, we would find that the universe is not 15 or 50 billion years old, that the universe is far smaller than that or far younger than that. It has been a pleasure presenting such complex ideas from physics and astrophysics to you in simple language. Presentation in simple language in itself is based upon detailed studies of this phenomenon, which is not easy. I spend a lot of time to study these things because my field is quantum nuclear physics, and my research was on the quark structure of protons, neutrons, and hadrons. So I enjoy studying these things, but it does take quite a bit of time to study these things, and therefore I have one request. I study much, I bring them into your language, and therefore I expect you to say thanks to me by clicking a like on this video. That's all what I need. And that's all what the reward I need for this kind of studies and presentation. Of course, atheists are spreading their message fast, and therefore theists, Christians should also be spreading the message. Please share this video. Under this video, there is an arrow sign clicking which you can share it on social media. Also, if you are not a subscriber, please do become a subscriber so that you do not miss any of our valuable videos. God bless you.